Good morning, class. It's Standard 8 History. Today's chapter is History, chapter name The Vedic Period. So, chapter 2. This is the old Vedic periods, and still we are following rituals, slogans, priests, Brahmins, a lot of caste wise divided into that Vedic periods from so many years back. So we'll talk about Vedic civilizations. In that there is a four group Vedic civilizations. First one, Vedic civilization is the civilizations of the period during which the Vedas were composed. Second one, the Vedas were composed by the Aryans. As per the record history, this Vedas composed by the Aryans. Third point, the Aryans were people who spoke and wrote from of Sanskrit and migrated from Central Asia about 1500 BC. They are migrated from Central Asia. Fourth point, the Aryans occupied the South Sindhu region and named is Brahmavarta, the then Gangatic region, and called is Aryavarta. In that, now sources of Vedic, where do comes? The sources of for the study of the Veda periods. First, literacy sources. Second one, archaeological sources. Let me see first literacy sources. First, the Vedas, 4 in number. First one, Rig Veda. Second one, Yajurveda. Third one, Samveda. Fourth one, Hartha Veda. Arthava Veda. The Rig Veda, the oldest of the Vedic literatures, it has nearly 1028 hymns and mantras, including the Gayatri mantras. Normally, if you any children to whom your father mother may be told, as soon as get up, read Gayatri mantras. So many people doing that work. I think so. Yajurveda, it is grouped into parts. The black, Krishna, and the white is Sukla. The latter has hymns concerning sacrifices, and the former contains commentaries. Samveda, it has hymns meant for the priest only who sang them at the time of the performance of yojanas. While performing puja, worship, they will chant it. Now, Atharva Veda, it contains mantras on 3 topics: charms, spell, and mysticism. Mysticism means mythologies. Aim, following the rules and regulations. So each of the 4 Vedas divided into 3 parts. First part, Samhitas. Second part, Brahmanas. Third part, Aranyakas. 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 So samhitas, these are in the verse form, the constitute the I'm part of the Vedas and deal mainly with rituals connected with the sacrifices. Normally do see worship, go to temple and go to mass, go to church, whatever it is, whichever the religions belong, they will do some sacrifices. Somebody is offering food, somebody is offering non-veg meat, whatever it is, that different on religious sources. Brahmanas, these are commentaries, what is called commentaries. They'll do the commentaries on the Vedic mantras. They are written in prose and deal mainly with rituals connected with sacrifices. Now Aranyakas, these are the concluding parts of the Brahmanas. They lay more stress on knowledge of God, soul, world and man. This is Aranyakas Vedas. Now the Vedic literature also having the Upanishads. They may contain Indian philosophy and give us information on matter, Prakriti. Prakriti means world, universe. Soul. Soul means Atma, inner conscious. And God, which are the God. Now they said Brahma. The Hindu religious say Vishnu, 3 gods are there. So the Brahma also is the God who made a people. The second one, the Puranas. Purana means somebody has written the story about Puranas. That is called Hindi word Puranas. The old historical books of the Aryans or the Puranas, they describe the origin of the world, birth or origin of gods, and the historical and mythological events of the ancient times, where they come from, which god were there, everything they written in the books. Second one, the Vedangas. Third one, Vedangas. They interpret the Vedas in simple language and deal with the pronunciation of words, grammar, astronomy and rituals. Every person having rituals, functions after death, any housewarming ceremony, childbirth, first birthday, naming ceremony, so many rituals are there. So fourth one, Upavedas. They deal with the secular subjects like Ayurveda deals with the medicines. Dhanurveda deals with art of warfare. Dhanurvisha means the bow and arrow. That is called Dhanur Vedas. The Gandharveda with the music, and Shilpa Veda with architecture. Shilp means statue, and Gandharva Veda means the music. Sutras. Next one, Sutras. Sutras explain the customs and rituals of the later Vedic period, especially their rituals relating to yojana sacrifices. The ritual function, as I told you, death ceremony, after death, 11th day, 9th day, whatever is according to religious period, they will do some pujas, worship. That's way. Next, Manusmriti. Manushramti, Manu Simriti. That means the Manu Simriti was written by Manu. It tells us about the code of law, judicial procedure and rights and duties of the four castes. This is the literature sources says. Now we will come to archaeological sources. Ancient time, the digging out which people lived there, how many years back they lived, everything they will find out. That is the archaeological department. The iron artifacts, implements and tools. With the discovery of iron in some areas, the use of iron began in 1000 BC. The use of iron axes and flakes became widespread and the jungles could be cleared with case. This enables the Vedic Aryans to settle in the western Gangetic plains. It known as a Iron Age. Gangetic means the riverside. They cut the trees and settled down in the bank riverside. Iron being harder metal than copper and bronze and easily available too, marks an important stage in the progress of civilizations. The new implementation like axes, iron flokes, sickles and houses accelerated agriculture work. Normally if you see the nowadays the latest machine tractors with the backside some oak type, digger type iron metals are used in the back to dig the ground, the what you call agriculture lands. You can see in the picture, you can see the naturally in the any village side if you go, you can see that. The implements like saws, chisels, hammers, nails and tongs gave rise to new occupations like weaving, spinning, carpentry, tanning and tool making. These all irons. If you want to shape one like example, one motorbike want to shape one car manufactures, there are tools. Nowadays all automatic is coming. Previous they used to iron material is a dye purpose. Dye means a mold. In that they will press it and bring the shape of the car which they designed. Excuse me. Next, weapons like swords, armor, shields and slings were used in defense. Normally olden days the rajas, maharajas, kings are used with iron materials like a bow and arrow, javelin type arrows and sickles, swords, long swords with armor, shields, the round side to protect them from getting injured. Next, pottery. Remains of different kinds of pottery found at the different sites through right on the style of the lives of the Vedic period. Pottery means mud pots, clay pots, like statues, cups and saucer, big jars. It made of clay. Next, the epics in the Ramayana and Mahabharata. This also is epics included. So, these two epics were written in Sanskrit. The Ramayana was originally composed by the Maharishi Valmiki. The Mahabharata was written by Saj Vaishya. The Bhagavad Gita, which forms part of the Mahabharata, is one of the most popular religious texts. It elaborates the karma philosophy and the immorality of the soul. The epics reveal the high ideals of family life of the Aryans and provide information on the political institution and the social and cultural organization of that period. They lived with the families, family value, joint families. Nowadays, it's very rare to see joint family together. Though the joint family value is more in Aryan families. Now, archaeology department says the graveware and the painted graveware pottery was very fine, smooth, colored, and made of well worked high quality clay with paintings. The northern block polished ware was glossy and shiny, like a clay, a white cup and saucer. You've seen that same type they made it. Next, we will call about Vedic period. What is Vedic period? Excuse me. Vedic period divided into two Vedic types. One is early Vedic, another is the later Vedic periods. The early Vedic Rigveda period, and we will come to the comparison of the society's early Vedic periods and later Vedic periods. To comparison, the society in the early Vedic period, society in the later Vedic periods. So now we will see the early Vedic periods. First one, social divisions. The society was divided into four classes on the basis of occupation, which could be chosen according to people's need and talents. Brahmins explained the Vedic texts and performed the religious ceremonies. The second one, Kshatriyas, belonged to the ruling class, that is Raja type, king. Then Vaishyas, engaged in trade, agriculture and industry. Now Sudras, Shudras, Sudras served the needs of other three classes by providing physical labor. Normally you call servant. This is the fourth class. Now in that Vedic period they opened four ashram. According to the Aryans, the man life was divided into four periods of the 25 years each. Each period represented one ashram, that is 25 years, 50 years, 75 years and 75 to 100 years. They divided into four, 25 into four quarters. That is called four ashram. Normally it is called brahmacharya, that is when you are young age, up to 25, brahmachari. Then we will come to the Grihastha ashramam, between the 25 to 50 is the family life, getting marriage, settle down with family and having baby, having children, having property, having house. This one. The second one, above 50 to 75, that is called Vanasprasada ashram. That means you have to live peaceful life in forest area type. Then last one is coming sannyasa ashram. After 75 years, you have to become a sannyasi. You have to leave the family, everything, and live on your own. That is called sannyasa ashram. This is a four period they divided into four group, four ashram. It is called four ashram. So first brahmacharya, let's see. It is the first period of birth to 25 years of age. It was mainly devoted to educations and for the development of body and mind. So up to 25 years they made it. The second one, Grihastha Ashramam. It is the second phase of life from 25 years to 50 years of age, when man get married and lead the family life. Now, Vanasprasatha Ashramam. It is the third phase of the life from 51 to 75 years of age, when man handed over his property and responsibilities to his sons and retired to the forest with his wife. This is Vanasprasatha Ashramam. The last one is Sannyasa Ashramam. It has been last phase from 76 years of age onwards. Man had to renounce all worldly pleasures and send his wife back to her children and live in the forest as a sannyasi. By this renunciation, the man believed he could get moksha or salvations. So, like that, it will go into there. Now, third one is family. After the four ashramas open, the given clear instructions how to live. Man can live family, educations, marriage, then property, then living sannyasi alone. Nothing going to take when you go salvation, moksha, when you die. That is a meaning of these four ashramams. Every human must learn this. Now, family. It was the smallest unit of society. The Grihapati enjoyed absolute control over all members of the family. Grihapati means the head of the family. Like every family is somebody, some having father, some grandfathers, some of them mother, grandmothers, likewise. Head of the family. It's called Grihapati. The joint family system was prevalent. The property was inherited by the male members. After the death of the head of the family, unmarried daughters also received a small share those days.